Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is just going to be about a quick little video about whether you should go specific or general when it comes to doing affirmations and doing those affirmations because you want to manifest a particular thing. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So when it comes to manifesting and just in general, affirmations is a great way because it's something that you naturally do anyway. Even if you don't realize that you are doing affirmations, let's say, or that you have a particular affirmation for something, you basically do, like your beliefs and your thoughts, etc., like you are constantly affirming different things and affirming different beliefs and having different thoughts and beliefs about things which come from and are to do with particular affirmations, basically. That, like I said, you might not consciously be doing that affirmation, but if you think about different things in your life and different scenarios and your different thoughts and beliefs about particular things, there is a particular affirmation that goes with that thing, if that makes sense. So when it comes to affirmations, I think it's very natural and it's very common to want to do a specific affirmation for a particular thing, because when you are being specific, you have an exact goal. Like, you know that if you say, I have £100,000 in my bank account, that is the exact thing that you are manifesting. It's very, you know, it's a direct goal. You can see exactly where that manifestation is. Like, you know for sure it's that kind of thing, and you know exactly where it's going to go. On the flip side, when it comes to general, I think a lot of people don't want to use general affirmations, or don't want to go particularly general, because it's very hard to visualize that general thing. So for example, using I am wealthy, it's very hard to then have like a particular end goal to say that, oh, okay, like I manifested this particular thing, because it's general. It's general. Like, that's what it is. It's general. There's no specific end goal. There's no one particular thing that you can look to say that, okay, like this is it. I manifested this particular thing. And so I feel like naturally a lot of people, when they want to do affirmations and when they're thinking about doing a particular affirmation for whatever it is that you want to manifest, general is not always deemed like the way to go, or the way that feels right for that situation, let's say. However, I believe that the two are not opposite, and that one isn't particularly better than the other. Like, they're just two different ways of doing something. But I don't necessarily think that I don't necessarily think that one is better than the other, or that they are opposites or whatever. They just are different, but they ultimately have the same direction when it comes to whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. So if we go with like the examples that I just used, let's say you decide to go specific and you say that I have £100,000 in my bank account, compared to if you decide to go general and you say that I am wealthy. At the end of the day, money is still going to come. Money is still going to increase for you. So the main thing that matters is the direction. They both go towards what your ultimate goal is, which is to have more money, basically, whether that be that you want a specific amount of money, or whether you just want to say that I am wealthy and not have a specific or a necessary like limit on that particular thing. They're both going to go in the direction where you're going to see an increase in money. You're going to experience an increase in money in your life. It's just about the direction. They're both going in the same direction. The only thing I would say for me, when it comes to doing specific affirmations, I feel like there can be more doubt and more worry when it comes to that particular thing. Because if you say that, let's say you're saying, oh, I have £100,000 in my bank account, and you know in your mind that or you have decided in your mind that £100,000 is going to come from, I don't know, whatever it is that you think it might come from, or you're being very specific and you're saying that, let's say with like your business or whatever, or like winning a certain amount of money, or like just whatever, if you're being very like specific about it, I feel like there is room for a lot more doubts, and it may take longer for you to manifest that particular thing, and it may be harder for you to manifest that particular thing, because when it comes to specifics, you're very attached to that end outcome. You're attached to that amount, you're attached to that particular thing, you're attached to that particular outcome, that it's that much easier for you to have doubts and to question it and to try and, you know, reason with how it's going to happen, etc., etc. That's the only thing I would say when it comes to specifics. And even for myself, I find it a lot harder, or I find it a lot more stressful when it comes to specifics, when it comes to using like a specific affirmation and saying, let's say if it comes to money, let's say I'm saying that, yeah, like let's say I use that I have £100,000 in my bank account, or I make £100,000 from my business or something like that. There's a lot more stress. Like, to me, there's a lot more stress that comes with that, because I have decided that the money and the wealth that I'm going to have is coming from that particular thing. It's going to happen in that particular way. And so I'm putting a lot more stress on myself to now, you know, do particular things or follow particular actions that are gonna go towards that, rather than if it was more general. And I said that I am wealthy. The wealth can come from anywhere, so I can just enjoy my life and do the things that I'm doing, continue to work on my business, continue to work on all the other stuff that I'm doing, but just knowing that I am wealthy in general. I've also not put a limit on where that wealth could come from. So I've allowed myself to have that many more options with how the wealth can come, what the wealth can come from, rather than putting it down to one particular thing and making myself more stressed out about it. But that's just a personal thing for me. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. There's no specific is better than general, or etc., etc. It's just based on your own personal preference and what works for you. At the end of the day, you are a conscious creator, and if you're doing particular affirmations when it comes to money, you can have wealth from a multitude of things. You don't have to put your power into one particular thing, or even into one particular amount, or whatever. Like, you are a conscious manifestor, and you are open to so much abundance in various different areas. It doesn't even have to just be money. In whatever it is that you want, you're open, and you can have and you deserve like so much abundance in general. Now, if you do decide to be specific, again, nothing wrong with that at all. If you do decide that you want to use a specific affirmation, you also have to realize that even with the specific, there still needs to be general beliefs that support that particular thing. So let's say you decide to be specific. Oh, these words, I can barely say them. If you decide to do that, and you decide that you're gonna affirm that you have £100,000 in your bank account, your general beliefs about money still need to support that. So you can't have general beliefs that, you know, money is hard to come by, or that money is bad, or whatever, like whatever general beliefs around money that you have need to also support whatever the specific thing is that you want. And that's to go with anything you're trying to manifest. If you decide to use a specific affirmation and go for that specific thing, make sure that your general beliefs surrounding that particular area are good. So my advice would be that if you're doing specific, maybe work on your general beliefs about that thing first. So relationships, money, whatever, make sure that your general beliefs about that particular thing are good and would support whatever it is that specific belief is going for example. So if you are using it for money, then you need to have a general belief that money is easy for you to come by, that, you know, you're always surrounded by abundance, that you're always blessed with money. Like, just have general beliefs around that particular thing, and then do specific. That would be my only advice if you decide that you want to use a specific affirmation. However, I'm going to end it with this: test it for yourself. Like, it's one thing for me to tell you these things, but test it for yourself. Do a little test for yourself where you can decide that you're going to do a general affirmation for something, and then the opposite, but then you're also going to do a specific affirmation for something. So start with either one and decide that say for this whole month or for a month, you're going to use that general affirmation for that particular thing. See what happens. Then for the next month, you're going to use a specific affirmation around that general thing. See what happens. Like, test it for yourself. That is the best way that you can do this. Learn for yourself what works. At the end of the day, you are a conscious creator in your reality, and what works for you and what feels most natural to you and comes easier to you is going to be different for me or different for the next person. So test it for yourself, see what works. If doing more specific affirmations gets you exactly what you want a lot quicker, a lot easier, etc., etc., then go with that. If a general affirmation does that same thing for you, then go with that also. Like, there's no right or wrong, basically. You just have to do what feels best for you and causes you the less resistance. And yeah, so yeah, I hope this video has helped. As always, I will see you in the next one.